Today, we are going over the biggest scam in every Call of Duty. Let's dive in. Okay, we're gonna start this one off in Call of Duty 4, and we're going all the way back to 2008 with the release of the Variety Map Pack. Now, this map pack was $10, and it promised us 4 new maps: Broadcast, Chinatown, Creek, and Kill House. Now, fans were excited for the new content, but once they released, they noticed a little bit of a catch here. Chinatown was just a reskin of COD 2's Carrington, and Kill House, many of you probably recognize this map if you played the campaign. It's the first mission where you do the training. So people thought $10 was just a little bit too steep of a price. On top of this, we now know that when you get map packs, it causes matchmaking issues for those who didn't buy it. Now we're on to Call of Duty World at War. Now, despite this being one of my favorite Call of Duties, the actual overall opinion of this game is sometimes somewhat mixed. And that is because a lot of people at launch felt like this was just a reskinned Modern Warfare with a World War II setting. A lot of the same engine, the same streaks, 357, guns, create a class. There wasn't a lot of innovation. So people just said, I'm just going to go back to Call of Duty 4 and keep my money. Do I think they were wrong? Yes, I do, but that's not up for me to decide. Now we're on to what people considered maybe to be the greatest Call of Duty of all time, OG MW2. Now this one stinks because this was an issue between the Infinity Ward developers and Activision. There was a massive lawsuit, and this led to a lot of the developers leaving for good, and then at the other ones, they would leave and make their own studio, aka Respawn. If you don't know about that, I have a video on it. But anyway, as a result of this, there was no devs to fix bugs and glitches, and a lot of this stuff went unfixed for months. I mean, some of the issues are still in the game to this day. If you remember the map Fuel, yeah, there was a glitch that you could get in a rock. Yeah, that's never been patched. So honestly, at the end of the day, we were the ones that got hurt by this. And honestly, a game that doesn't get updated, I think that's a little bit of a scam. Call of Duty Black Ops 1. Now, this one is maybe something that you didn't know. This game was the first game where Xbox got the exclusive rights, the exclusive content deal, meaning they pretty much got every map pack first. It was a month prior. Now, where do I go with that is, PS3 people felt like they were getting the short end of the stick the entire year. If you didn't play BO3 on PS3, this game was riddled with technical issues, lag, frame rate drops, and just terrible matchmaking. Now, the funny thing is, they ended up patching it like 6 months after release, but the PS3 version was always worse than the Xbox 360 version. Now I'm starting to think I know the reason why. Now we're on to MW3 again. We got to say the OG MW3, and this is the release of Call of Duty Elite. Now, this was like a $50 premium subscription service that promised to include all this stat tracking and clan tools and early access to DLC. And at launch, it was a complete disaster. The servers crashed, stats didn't track, and the mobile app barely worked. The crazy thing is, by 2012, Activision made this feature Elite free and then completely shut it down quietly right after that. I want to know in the comments, did any of you guys buy this Elite feature? Now, Black Ops 2 is kind of funny because we all know that DLC runs rampant nowadays, but this was kind of unheard of back in the day. Buying camos on your gun. This was the introduction of microtransactions for weapon skins. Yes, the community back then was outraged. They called it the biggest cash grab ever. Here's the funny part when you look back on it. The camos only cost $1.99. They covered the entire weapon, and you could apply it to every single gun. Honestly, looking back, we might not have known how good we actually had it. Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, this game was actually the first game to launch on next-gen consoles, and by that I mean PS4 and Xbox One. Now, if you had the Xbox 360 version of the game, you had the option to upgrade your version to the Xbox One version for like 10 to 20 bucks. Or if you didn't buy the 360 version, you had to pay more money back then. If you remember, there was a little gap where you had to pay like $70 instead of the 60 that we were used to. And then when the game came out for Xbox One, people actually went back and compared it to the 360 version. There's not a lot of graphical improvement. Everybody felt like this was a crazy cash grab, and a complete waste of time and money. Advanced Warfare. We begin the jetpack era, and listen, I mean, I think we all know where this is gonna go. This is where supply drops got introduced.
Flashback.
Here we are in Advanced Warfare, the game that started it all. Obviously, supply drops were not a thing until this game, and they went a little overkill, as you can see by the way my character looks. It's very interesting. A lot of that I got from supply drops, but here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna open up 20 from this game. It says right here I can just buy 20. I didn't realize we had 8 already, or I wouldn't have bought 20. I just got scammed, but that's okay.
End of flashback.
And they got just a little bit out of hand. Advanced Warfare introduced weapons to loot boxes, but the problem was they had variants of the guns that were default in the game, and they were all better stats than the base versions of the gun. So if you got an ASM-1, unlocked the normal one, but got an ASM-1 and a supply drop, it was actually most of the time better. And the only way you could get these guns was through supply drops. You could not grind for them. And the only way you could get supply drops, you guessed it, it was your hard-earned money. So this was pretty much the first ever pay-to-win mechanic in Call of Duty. Now, I wish I could say that Call of Duty learned their lesson, but in Black Ops 3, Activision pretty much doubled down on DLC guns and supply drops, and it wasn't very good. Now, despite being one of the best Call of Duties in terms of content, you know, zombies, multiplayer, campaign, it had it all, but unlocking these weapons was an absolute nightmare. Again, the only way that you could unlock them was through supply drops, and there was no option to grind for them. And if you wanted to get all the weapons, you had to spend an absurd amount of money. Compare the new weapons in Advanced Warfare to the amount of new weapons in BO3. I mean, it's like, I feel like it's like triple. So, again, pull out the credit card, get scammed. Now that brings us to Infinite Warfare. And most of you guys know that by this time, nobody wanted another jetpack COD. The trailer released, it had one of the most disliked, I think it still is one of the most disliked gaming videos, maybe disliked videos of all time. And Call of Duty and Activision knew they were in trouble this year. So guess what they did? They announced Call of Duty 4 Remastered. Yes, we're all saved. We're playing Call of Duty 4 Remastered. This is great. Oh, wait a second. It's actually only able to be got if you bought the special edition of Infinite Warfare for $80. So you ended up, if you wanted to play COD 4, having to buy Infinite Warfare and spend even more money to get COD 4 Remastered. Man, oh man, they got us bad this year. Oh man, they got us bad. Next up, Call of Duty World War II. We are saved, guys. Call of Duty is going back to the classic COD. We're going back to World War II. We're going back to boots on the ground. Everybody's hyped. Everybody's excited. Everybody's pre-ordering the game. Brand new features are happening, like the headquarters, which please bring it back. I'm begging, guys. I'm still begging. And when the game launched, it was completely broken.
Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I have a video for you about Call of Duty World War II's numerous launch problems and failures. This was a video that I'm kind of sad that I have to make. I was hoping to just be able to kind of avoid it and not worry about it. And yeah, you know, in a couple of days there'll be a patch that comes out that fixes World War II and everything will be fine and dandy. But here we are 10 days after launch and it is not working.
Servers did not work for, I'm pretty sure it was nearly a week. And even when the multiplayer came back online, there was a bunch of features that were still bugged, like the headquarters. You couldn't do anything. You were sitting in the headquarters by yourself. For a game that was meant to kind of bring the player base back, it actually drove the player base even further away. And then they went and played Fortnite because it was free and it was dominating the world. I'm sad thinking about this release. I'm so sad. What a scam. Black Ops 4. Now this game was actually kind of bringing some excitement back because of the introduction of Battle Royale. As we all know, Fortnite was on top of the world and they introduced Blackout. Now, the problem is people also want to play other modes besides Battle Royale because it's not for everybody. They want to go do zombies. They want to go do multiplayer. They want to go do campaign. Oh, wait, Black Ops 4 didn't have a campaign. For the first time ever in Call of Duty history, a game launched with no single player story. Not gonna lie, as a campaign guy myself, I'm still mind blown by this. Now there is, you know, Reddit posts and news articles leaked that there was a campaign at one time. It got scrapped because of the production of Battle Royale. It still makes me sad to this day. If it would have had a campaign, that possibly could have been one of the most complete packages of a Call of Duty we've ever gotten, but it didn't. Now, Modern Warfare 19 is a pretty simple one here. This game at launch, or I guess the trailers leading up to it, promised this robust spec ops mode. It was marketed like a spiritual successor to the MW2 co-op missions. Yeah, players ended up getting a buggy, bare bones experience with only 4 operations at launch. On top of this, to make matters even worse, Sony now has the exclusivity deal, and they actually locked the survival mode behind the PS4 for an entire year, meaning Xbox and PC players, I mean, honestly, probably never even played it because Call of Duty is a yearly game. Okay, now we are on to Cold War. And listen, I'm just going to be upfront. I'm going to be a little nicer to this game because it was made during the pandemic. There was a bunch of studio switch. I think Sledgehammer or Raven Software was supposed to do this game. Treyarch took it over in the final hours and actually made a pretty decent product. Now, the one thing that I think is unbelievable is the fact that there were only 8 maps at launch. Yes, 8 multiplayer maps at launch. If you didn't know, usually we get like from anywhere from like 12 to 16. And on top of this, there was actually 2 maps that were made for the larger game modes. It was like Armada Strike, the boat map, and something else. So realistically, we only got 6 6v6 maps. Yeah. And then the next map that we got was Nuketown. There wasn't a lot of original content in the multiplayer in the beginning of this game. Call of Duty Vanguard. Now, considering Sledgehammer wanted to make Advanced Warfare 2, we could probably go with the entire game, but I'm going to save that for another title. Wink, wink. For this one, I'm just going to go with the entire zombies category. I am in no means a diehard zombies guy anymore, but I went and played this version, and I thought to myself, there is no way that they didn't put this mode in just to sell copies. And after I did a little research, that's exactly what everybody else said. This third mode was about as bare bones as you could possibly imagine. Modern Warfare 2, I am going to go with the Abandonment of DMZ. Now, again, just like zombies, I was not the biggest fan of this mode. You guys know me. I was not a biggest fan of this game either, but I'm going to try not to be a total hater. I am going to understand this mode was enjoyed by a lot of players out there. It even brought some new people to the franchise. When you look back on this game, I mean, the fun fact about it is the entire game was based around this mode, and that pretty much led people to believe Activision was going to double down on this mode, put a bunch of content out there. And then instead they completely abandoned it, let it to die, never updated it again once MW3 came out. And so all that grinding kind of was done for absolutely no reason at all. You know how I said an entire game was a scam? It was coming up. Yeah, we're here on that game now. It's called MW3 now.
I have a question for you guys. Is this Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3?
I have to say this game turned out pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you played the multiplayer, it was actually very good by the end of the year. But here's the problem. Most of you probably know that MW2 was planned to have this DLC pack for like $40, give you a bunch of the old classic OG MW2 maps, and we were gonna have that for another year, give everybody another year of development time, kind of changed the formula up a little bit. Well, MW2 didn't do so hot, so this game ended up getting pushed out as a brand new full game at full retail price, and people knew right away that this was a scam. The campaign was unfinished. It was finished, but it felt like it was unfinished. And then Zombies was pretty much a DMZ map with zombies on it, thinking they didn't put a lot of effort into this. Honestly, the only thing that was effort was multiplayer, but it was the OG maps that they were going to put in the game anyway. So at the end of the day, this game entirely, it was a scam. It was a scam. Even as a COD fanboy, it was a scam. And now we've gotten to the most current title, Black Ops 6, and I don't really think I need to do much research with this one. Actually, it just kind of happened. The Ninja Turtles skins. Yes. These Ninja Turtle skins are not able to be purchased in a bundle, so if you want to buy These Ninja Turtles, all, you got to buy them individually. And every single one is $20. So if you want to buy all 4, let's do the math here. That's $80. That's more than Black Ops 6 for 4 skins. I just want to compare this with Fortnite, which is a free game. I believe they were like $20. Call of Duty. If you're still watching this video, if you're somehow watching this video, can we get this store under control, please? Stop punching us in the face with items and passes, please. We just want to play the game. We want to play the game. Okay, now that my blood pressure is through the roof, that was the biggest scam in every single Call of Duty. I just want to do a quick plug. My second channel is a Star Wars channel. I created it a while back. I'm picking it back up again because I just miss having a little creative freedom to do something else besides Call of Duty. So if you guys want to support that channel, I'm going to put it in the description. If you're not into Star Wars, all good, man. But let me know in the comments down below, guys, what do you think is the biggest scam in Call of Duty history? If you like the video, and subscribe if you're new. Also, there's another video over there if you want to watch it. We'll see you in the next one.